National Weather Service on alert after conspiracy. I'm gonna move because I'm like
Center yourself there.
National Weather Service on alert after conspiracy group threatens radar sites. Okay, so this is down in Missouri. The National Weather Service is on heightened alert after recent threats from a militia-style group that believes the agency's Doppler radar systems are being used as weather weapons. These people might listen to the show, for all I know, with all the fake cloud talk.
That's why I told you we need a picture of George Bush Sr. in here because that's our protector, I think.
I don't need ghouls in this room.
There's already ghouls in this room.
I don't need that ghoul. That is a evil lizard man.
And I'm not saying I like this person. I'm just saying he shows up
You think
everywhere.
no? That's you're what you're talking about is false idols. I don't want no HW false idol up in here. He's a golden calf who ran the CIA for a long time. Also, I just want to say I don't condone violence. I don't condone taking down anything you shouldn't. But I'm fascinated with these things. These before I continue reading these, people remind me of the. So I love Luddites, right, from like the 19th century.
Because you are one.
Oh yeah, they weren't anti-tech. They like technology. They used the technology of the day. They used the weavers to make the textiles. They were against being replaced by mass autonomy in the factories, right? But there's new Luddites. These guys might be new Luddites, but the new Luddites I was thinking of are the ones in the I forget what it's called. It's like a green zone in the UK where they put up those new cameras to detect the license plates of cars that aren't like to code with the new carbon footprint stuff. So these guys climb the poles and take down all the cameras, and they've been doing it so much. The government keeps putting them up in like new, bigger cages. So like giant dystopian cameras in big cages just to like fine you for driving a car that's like from like the 2000s. It's ridiculous. So I feel like this is like an offshoot of this, but this is for the weather manipulation people. All right. Initial reports indicate the group identified by CNN as Veterans on Patrol, which is kind of like Paw Patrol,
right?
But for clouds, has targeted radar facilities operated by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, otherwise known as NOAA, which I always found hilarious.
It's in the name.
No, like they took the name from the Bible and then turned it into like their apparatus for weather control. The group reportedly sent threats calling the radar network a weapon and encouraging attacks on weather sites. Wow. They are the number one tool in our toolbox, said Herb Simmons, director of St. Clair County Emergency Management. Simmons emphasized the critical role Doppler radar plays in severe weather forecasting and emergency response. The NWS data reaches nearly 4 million people in the St. Louis region alone. Before I go on, how do you guys feel about rain? Real? Fake?
I hope it's
some real, some fake.
Are we talking about vintage rain here?
Or good.
I don't know, Shane. You make me question everything every day of my life, so I don't know anymore.
Well, it's like, okay, the hurricane happened recently in North Carolina. It's horrible, and it devastated all those homes. And it happened in the mountains. And a lot of people were like, how is that even possible? Like they never get hurricanes there. So like the conversation became, that's a fake hurricane. I think it's very possible that things can be faked, even like hurricanes and earthquakes. I don't think it's conspiratorial to think that. Like our government was literally researching how to make hurricanes. They were bombing weather systems off the coast, off in the Atlantic, to try to see if they could steer hurricanes and weather systems. So like maybe not all rain is fake. I don't think all rain is fake. Some rain is vintage, some is organic. But like we as in the government takes our money and is trying to build a way to play God. They're trying to make hurricanes. We know they're seeding clouds right now in the West for droughts. Like they keep running out of water for whatever reason. And they're like, well, just put, I'm spacing on the chemical they put in the clouds to make it rain. Like, I don't know how safe all this is.
Well, maybe we need to make it rain so that California doesn't go on fire.
Or does California need to go on fire? I'm sorry, Californians. You know I love y'all.
They seem to have a regular schedule with going on fire, as you put it.
That's right.
Yeah. Well,
that's
it's the time of year.
That's right. No, Alex.
Like
Alex,
I play video games with a buddy that lives out there, and I usually will randomly just ask him like, "Hey, are you on fire today, or what's going on
Right.
out there?" And he's like, "No, we're good. We're just covered in smoke. You know, it's everybody else that's burning." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I guess everybody kind of just flees to NorCal to kind of hide from,
Yeah.
you know, almost
fire
the
season.
dune-like southern storms, you know, where it's just not inhabitable by humans.
Yeah. And a lot of people thought those fires were not naturally occurring.
No, and I mean, well, if you consider arson a naturally occurring thing,
Exactly.
you know, not to play into that too much, but there were a lot of people coming out afterwards, and a couple of people that were caught that actually attributed to arson. Right. And I mean, you know, in a dry area, you know, light a match in the corner and watch the entire room burn in a matter of hours. You
Whole
know?
thing.
It just takes a spark, you know.
Do you remember the Canadian fires? Was that a year or two ago?
Yeah, that was a few years ago, I believe. But I was in Chicago at the time.
Okay.
And there was this thick, creepy mist that just engulfed the entire city.
Did it change the color of the sky?
Smog.
It changed the taste in your
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah. It was bizarre.
And you couldn't. It wasn't something that you could brush your teeth or use mouthwash and
Right.
wash out. It was like you were just breathing in these it's just tasted like chemicals.
Yeah. It was really disgusting.
And it was everywhere. Like it was in every inch of the air.
Yeah. I remember we were actually driving to New York from here the day it started. And as we got closer, the sky turned orange.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really bizarre. And then, you know, you look at the pattern of the fires as they started. It was like almost a systematic.
A controlled burn.
Yeah, controlled burn of Canada.
Yeah.
Like Trudeau walking around with a torch from here to here to here. That was very bizarre. But they
I
were
mean,
trying to say it was climate change.
If they could create rain, why not see it in a beneficial way?
Because you shouldn't play God. And everything they add to this to create rain isn't like real. It's all like something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the fake clouds things is like there's a whole different bunch of fake clouds, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you believe there's forever chemicals in our environment, which there are from all the things we've done to it, like the bombs, and just think of all the things we've done through war. And like where I grew up in New York, we had an IBM factory on the river, and they were allowed to dump all their chemical waste into the Hudson River. There's a giant sign on the river by the train tracks that said this is allowed, and with a pipe. It was like in The Simpsons. Like it was insane. It blew my mind when I saw that. So if that's all there, and you know how clouds work, all this stuff is going up already, and you shouldn't be messing with it. I think it's already bad.
But
It's
I
already
mean,
bad.
you know, doctors play God.
To a certain extent, yeah.
You need doctors.
No,
Maybe you don't. I don't know.
No, I'm anti-doctor now. Actually, as you say it.
I almost like to think that
pro-shaman.
doctors defy God.
Ooh.
You know,
What
not so
way?
much as like, I mean, you know, you've got scientists and stuff that, you know, are trying to create test tube babies and things like that, you know, and,
Yeah.
have been highly successful in doing that.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like really in my head, doctors are trying to counter what nature wants, you know,
Yeah.
which sometimes and most of the time isn't for the best, you
Oh,
know,
for sure.
for a person.
Yeah.
But in instances, you know, like cancer, things like that, this is where, you know, nature is taken over and is trying to end, you know, a small chunk of the species in whatever way that it can. And doctors are trying to counter that. So in a way, it seems to me like, yeah, while they could be considered playing God, it's almost like they're trying to defy him.
We got cancer from the fake clouds, though. So what if the doctors are trying to help? You know, what if we're like the fake clouds are the ones behind the population?
Well, you would
control?
like to think that if that were the case, then they would also be trying to find a way to get rid of these doctors too, right?
True.
You know,
True.
they don't want any interference when it comes to that. You know, and the U.S. has been, you know, this quote unquote playing God thing, you know, since back in Los Alamos with the days of Oppenheimer and, you know, creating the atomic bomb. And, you know, when you get down to the technology of things now, it really seems more likely that they would be trying to weaponize more natural forces.
Yeah.
So I don't think the idea, you know, that they're creating hurricanes and things like that is that far-fetched.
No, yeah, for sure. And I actually agree with the doctors things. Like, I think there's good doctors, obviously, but like we got kicked out of so many doctors' offices in the past few years because we wouldn't take certain things for our children, and they literally can't allow that. So you're like made a pariah in certain places, and I think there's a way to do things without all the big pharma stuff, and big pharma, in my mind, and big clouder, hand in hand, these people. And it is trying to, but like all this stuff has been weaponized against us. And then, you know, if you can go back to that militia thing, because I think this is like fascinating, and now this is like an actual thing. Where did I leave off? Sorry, guys, I'm leaning in because I broke my glasses playing with my children, and now I'm like, and I'm literally showing my age now. I'm gonna have like my geriatrics posture, and I'm squinting up on the screen. Oh man,
Unable to breathe.
they're like, "What does it say, militia?" I'm like waving my cane. I'm literally old man waving at cloud right now. I can't believe that. So CNN reports that NOAA officials have received internal warnings about the group advocating for penetration drills to identify weaknesses at radar sites with the goal of ultimately destroying them. The Southern Poverty Law Center, so this is a very not a place I trust, classifies Veterans on Patrol as an anti-government militia, which does sound quite nice. According to the SPLC website, Veterans on Patrol, VOP, that's cool, it's like a metal band, is an anti-government militia located in Pima County, Arizona. Wait, hold up.
Sorry.
That's all good. The founder, Michael Lewis Arthur Meyer, is a Christian nationalist who rallies hard right extremists and conspiracy theorists around the issue of immigration and encourages vigilantism? Gigantism? I don't know. Without their monitoring, without their prediction, it will create problems for these communities when storms decide to raise their ugly heads. So, have these people spoken out yet? Like, has there been like a video, you know, like an announcement from the militia where it's like, we've taken over your radar systems? Where
All your base are belong to us.
yeah, like, how come there's no presence? Is there no social media presence for this militia? There's no PR. Other than me right now. It's fascinating. What does the political response say? First alert for asked Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who calls St. Louis home. He believes politics on local unrest may be contributing to these threats. He said no. Clearly, that's inexcusable. People are doing their jobs.
Sure.
We rely on those forecasts to control people. No, he didn't say that part for those listening. Growing up in this region in times of severe weather, when people are trying to find safety, there is no room for that in a civilized society. That's for sure. Says the people controlling the weather. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What civilized society?
We don't have a civilized society. It's fake. It's a fake civilized society. We're just like buying into this thing.